Yeah, it's okay. So can you hear me properly?
A very good evening, everybody. Hope you're all doing good. Gives me great pleasure to welcome to our Motivational Monday, Mr. Anil Srivastava, who is the Director Sales and Marketing at Nihon Kohden, India. Welcome to the show, Mr. Anil Srivastava, on behalf of Voice of Healthcare. Pleasure to have you with us, and a very good evening to you too.
Very good evening, Sumit, and thank you for kind words. And thank you so much for welcoming and Voice of Healthcare, giving this opportunity to be with the people and share my thoughts with you. Thank you so much, Sumit.
Excellent, excellent. Anilji, just to start with quickly, you've had a long innings with a lot of companies, a lot of reputed companies. At Nihon Kohden currently, you've been with Philips, you've been with Medicine, which is now Samsung, with Sonosite and HCL before that. Quickly, in a few lines, could you tell us what you're handling at Nihon Kohden currently, at Nihon Kohden India currently, if you can tell us?
Yeah. With Nihon Kohden, I take care of the medical equipment division. We have three business verticals. One is medical equipment, other one is IVD, and then we have a neurology and ventilation also. So this all, other than IVD, rest everything falls under the medical equipment division, which I take care. And I take care of the pan-India business for this business. And where we have a patient monitors, defibrillator, ECG machines, very importantly, the AED, automatic external defibrillator, to save the people's life. Then we have a range of neurodiagnostic equipments where EEG, EMG, intraoperative monitoring system, sleep labs, all that comes part of that.
Okay, so if I understand it correctly, a lot of your products fall within the intensive care and the emergency part of the healthcare systems.
Definitely. The focus is the critical care, emergency medicine, and operation theaters also, we are there with a piece of equipment, and then neurology.
Okay, great. So which means that the entire COVID pandemic would have been very tough times for you, because a lot of these products would have been in demand, and in order to fulfill this demand, and there would have been a lot of challenges that you would have had to overcome. And what were you think were the learnings from this, as far as which you can share with some of our viewers? What were the learnings that came out of it for you, for your company, and something that you'd like to share with us?
Thanks, Sumit. For a nice question, I think. And this is with everyone. And in fact, I can share a small thought. In fact, we all get a lot of messages and tons of messages in WhatsApp. And on this Teacher's Day, there's a very good message was there. The best teacher is COVID for all of us, which has taught many things for us, which we have not learned in the whatever your experience or age is there. What you have not learned, you have learned during this pandemic time in a year or a year and a half, which has taught to our students and to us also. And the things which we were saying, we were not able to manage without that. And we all managed it. Correct. So starting we are a patient monitoring company where the major business is a patient monitors and defibrillators. And during this pandemic, whenever there is the discussion starts. It starts with a pulse oximeter, or you need to have when you're setting up a bed, ICU bed, you need a patient monitor for sure, because that's a mandatory requirement. Ventilators can be out of 16 bed, can be 2 or 3 type of things. But patient monitor, you need all 16 patient monitors. And we had an initial rush. We have the rush even later also, where a lot of demands were there, and especially from the government. Because first wave, it was major business which was coming, demands were there, which was from the government business. And vis-a-vis the challenge what we faced is the shipments.
True.
Though that time, luckily we had a stock because which we imported for the month of annual closing. and March was there, and we have planned, okay, we will have a bumper March, because year before we also had a big business in that thing. So we were lucky we could able to help the people with that stock, but orders were there, we are able to process, and I thank my operation team. Even with the full COVID, with the everything was closed, they were coming to the office, to warehouse, and they were helping the people and making the shipment happen. But unfortunately, that time the courier companies was unable to help us in that thing. So we have learned, we find out ways, we have very innovative ways where we have the many hospitals ready to send their ambulances, and we have finded out the ways to that with the passes. We have done that thing. Even I ferried a few places in my car also. So that has really helped us, and slowly we all have learned how to manage these things. Now, with a contrast to the first wave, the second wave was totally different. We could able to handle the things much better, and I think so our courier companies and all logistic partners and the people were also ready for that. So it's a big challenge for everyone, and I am sure the first wave and second wave was totally different. We handled the things much better way. All of us, every company has handled in a better way. Thank you.
True. And from what I've read a little bit, the pulse oximeter, which is, I think, so there in most Indian urban houses as we speak, that was an invention of one of your scientists at your company years back in Japan. Is that correct?
Yeah. In fact, that is way back in 1974. Dr. Aoki, who was an R&D engineer at Nihon Kohden, has invented that product. And before that, if you have to measure the oxygen in the blood, you have to take a blood sample, just like what you do right now, and then you give in the lab, and after testing, you will come to know what is the oxygen level is there in that oximetry. And he invented this technology. It's called pulse oximetry, and he has been awarded the IEEE award, which was happened in 2015. After so long of that thing, that is also a very interesting story is there, because normally what happened, you've been awarded, recognized, and all those things. But it was happened to be in United Nations was running a project in Africa for a safe motherhood. And while delivering the complicated babies, they used to use a pulse oximeter. And there the story started, oh, what is a fantastic technology and all those things. And every technology which is there in the world is based on the same principle.
Okay.
And Dr. Aoki, unfortunately, we have lost him last year during the first pandemic at the age of 84. But he has been a pillar for the Nihon Kohden, and all the pulse oximeter, whichever is there, or you're using a finger probe, or you are using a pulse oximeter, or using an patient monitor, is based on that same principle for what Dr. Aoki has invented for us.
So yes, so which means that there's been an excellent, input from your company in terms of the technology that came in. Nihon Kohden, from what I understand, is a primarily Japanese company, right?
That's correct.
And you mentioned your core competencies that you mentioned in terms of patient monitors, ventilators, products in the emergency, as well as operation theater and neurological sciences.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think are your core competencies in terms of the medical equipment industry vis-a-vis others in the same field, or maybe vis-a-vis yourself? What do you think is Nihon Kohden's core competencies as we go ahead?
Nihon Kohden always had a core competency of that. What we do, Nihon Kohden started in 1951. And this year we are celebrating our 70th anniversary. We have been there for 70 years continuous here. And Nihon Kohden is known for the innovations. So a lot of new technologies what Nihon Kohden has given to the world. What we talked about that, the pulse oximeter, which has been there. And in fact, when the company started in 1951 with 7 engineers, Dr. Ogino, who started this company, and he was a friend of Murata-san, who was a founder of Sony. Both are friends. And Murata-san went for the Sony, establishing Sony, and he established the medical equipment company. Said, I want to help in that thing. And since then, the first EEG machine which has been made in 1951 Now, in 1951, we were not having a fancy batteries which can last for 2 hours or 1 hour. And the EEG is something where microvolts are there to arrange a voltage and all those things, which picks up your signal of the brain and convert into a waveform. Now, at that point of time in 1951, imagine 70 years back, the power fluctuation, the noise, and all those things were major challenge, and they could not able to do a long studies with the battery backups. So Nihon Kohden, Dr. Aogi and his team has developed an EEG machine, which is first AC powered machine in the world. And with the help of that, they were able to diagnose and continuously, because EEG needs at least half an hour or 60-minute monitoring is needed for the brain. So this was the first invention was there. After that, a lot of invention has been done, like first arrhythmia monitor was made by Nihon Kohden. The battery powered defibrillator was the first was from Nihon Kohden. Then coming to back to, we have a, we measure the carbon dioxide in our, what we breathe and exhale and that thing. We call it capnography. And that is also, till now, it was used, say 10 years back when we invented, it was used only for an intubated patient. Now, intubated patient is that which is on a ICU, and he has been, ET tube has been incorporated and that thing, and there everything. But we have, and we use a mainstream ETCO2 sensor for that, which was around 50 grams or 40 grams type of thing. That technology was there. But with the invention of Nihon Kohden, we have invented just a 4-gram ETCO2 sensor, which can be used on a non-intubated patients also, and it's very nice. And I wish I could show you the pictures where a lot of big bulky ETCO2 sensor is there, which is used for the neonatal babies. But with this 4 grams is made the life really easy for the intensivist to do a monitoring. Now, American Society of Anesthesia says, wherever you are doing any procedure which is sedation is there, you're giving an anesthetic agent, even your tooth surgeries, even your dental surgery is happening, you have to have a continuous monitoring of CO2. Now, what happened in gastroenterology also, when ERCP or longer procedures are being done, so that is also recommended by JCI, you need to do under ETCO2 monitoring. Carbon dioxide continuously need to be monitored, because whenever apnea happens, the CO2 is something which will give you the fastest alarm. Means 5 to 10 years before apnea happens, you can get the alarms. So this is one of the technology which we invented by Nihon Kohden.
In fact, from what I can make out, innovation seems to be the crux of what you all do at Nihon Kohden, right?
Yeah.
Taking a point of innovation and moving forward, the challenges that you faced, during this whole entire endemic to pandemic time of maybe of the past 1.5 years, what were the innovations in terms of technology adoption that you think, you used, or you think that are going to be used in the future, as far as, either medical devices, the way they are distributed, the way they are sold, the way they are used, either of these things, what do you think are the technological innovations that, we would get to see that they become mainstream rather than them being only talked about in, international conferences? A lot of these things are becoming mainstream. Where do you think the innovation in terms of manufacturing, use, distribution of medical devices is going from here?
First thing, Sumit, the world is changing from football to eyeballs. Okay. Now, today what we're talking, it would have been a 5-star hotel where we are sitting and having a discussion on. Now everything is eyeball. We don't need to move out, and we are doing this all discussions here. Now, coming back to your point, what innovations is going to happen? What is the things are changing in this direction? I think we can divide into 2 or 3. First is that the ordering process is changed. Okay, people are going online and doing many things which we were not thinking of before. The ordering, people's, I can use that word, the IQ is improving. Now, what people used to say, you need somebody help. or you need, oh, I cannot do, okay, sit with me. That is what people are doing. Okay, I need to do it. I'll give you a very simple example, very interesting example. 3 years back, 4 years back, we sold a intraoperative monitoring system, and the customer wanted someone to come and teach them how to use that, because we as a company, we sell equipment and we tell you how to operate it, not to put it on a patient. Okay, because clinical diagnosis is not part of my role. That we may have an application person, but actually it is a part of doctor. So happened to be in that direction. We invited a doctor, which we come to know through our Dubai team, was a doctor from Iraq. Interestingly, because nobody was ready to come to India and come and train for a week to a doctors, and that was a big challenge for us. So finally, we could boil down to a person. Is Dr. Umrah was there from Erbil place in Iraq, and interestingly, he came to India, and when 3-4 days after training, when I went there, my team was there, and I went there. So we have come to know he knows everything. He knows EEG, he knows EMG, he knows intraoperative monitoring system, and he can do anesthetic work also. So I had a discussion with him. How come you know all everything, sir? You know the people who are master in one subject, EEG or EMG or this or IUM or sleep lab and you know anesthesia also, and a bit of that he was working with a neurosurgeon. He was guiding him also. So he said, look, I live in a country where I don't have a luxury of having so many people to help me out. So I am the one person who is managing everything in my operation theater. And he himself is a surgeon. He is not a neurologist. So the same thing is here, what happened in 1.5 years, where we were experiencing, okay, I don't know this, I cannot do this. No, but this time it has helped you, everything has been done. So same is here. Now the innovation thing is there, doctor sitting at home and monitoring the patient. It's called remote ICU monitoring, which is coming up in a big way. We have a technology where the doctor can see the complete ICU on his phone, so remotely monitoring the complete whichever patient he want to see. But the world is moving more forward in that direction, where the doctor sitting at a remote and can see that thing. We are working with a big installation happening right now, where doctor sitting at anywhere can control the patient there. He can see the patient. He can get his complete data on his phone or a laptop and do that thing. So this is changing. Is that
in fact, talking about data, I think so. Medical equipment companies like yours are going to play, I think so, a very, very important role going forward in terms of how data is assimilated and how data is interpreted. Because
yes.
In a lot of pediatric ICUs, there are associations that have formed which actually share data. And once data is shared, and through AI and machine learning today, data can be interpreted at times, where, as you pointed out a little while earlier, that certain, signals that can be read easier, certain changes, like you mentioned about somebody's CO2, can give you an indication. And so I think so going forward, data that comes out of machines, okay, machines meaning medical equipment in this case, will need to have a standard platform, a standard format, so that the data can be, shared across. Can you imagine if ICUs across the world can be connected, you would have data. The kind of data today large companies have, you would come to know. And I think so your companies like yours will play a great part in the future in terms of how data is, captured, how it is, recorded, and later how data is encrypted and, solutions coming out of it, And I think so that will go a long way. So you're very right in that way that, it's about these machines which will give out data and for others to interpret it while maintaining, patient confidentiality in its own way.
That's correct.
Okay.
Sorry. Please go ahead.
And your thoughts on the fact that, there have been talks about the fact that, that today machines can be accessed from outside. So newer and newer machines, I'm sure, have firewalls built into them now, because everything's connected to the net.
That's a challenge, because data security is going to be the next big topic. and every day, and you will find every day that some new scam is happening on these type of things. So patient security is a very important thing, and the patient data security that is going to happen. In fact, the other topic what you touched is AI. Now, I come from a background where I was an imaging person also. We call it radiology. So AI is coming in a big way in imaging, because now right now what happened when you do ultrasound, when you do a CT, when you do a MR, and a radiologist reads that thing, because it's for a common man it's all black and white. You don't know the gray shades, okay? And human eye is limited to number of shades only. That's with the experience, okay, this tissue is different and that tissue is different. Now AI is going to work in a big way in that direction, because the same thing happened during this pandemic also. The reading X-ray, the machine AI has been used in many places where this is patient is having COVID or not COVID. This automated thing has been done in a lot of ICUs. The X-rays has been read by the systems, and based on the diagnosis has been made, and the treatment direction has been changed. So it's going to big way. The machine learning, the deep learning, and AI is in a big way. Is going to come in that, and is in every field of life, and especially healthcare is going to come in a big way.
Great. Excellent. I think so that they're inevitable now in terms of them entering our lives in some way or the other. We have now the medical device rules, the MDR, which is already on in India. And I think so we are moving from a voluntary to mandatory phase as of October 1st.
Yes.
Your thoughts on the same?
It has two, three dimensions, I'll say. The first thing is that we didn't have that thing. We had, I think, for 2022 devices, this regulation was there, which was cardiac stunts and all those things are there. So if you can look at this at different perspectives. If you look at industry perspective, okay, fine, this regulation is going to happen, and we need to, right now it's voluntary is going on, then from 1st of October it is mandatory to do all those things. So if you look at that, the people, the hospitals will get a quality products, first thing. And government is able to control what you're getting and what not getting. I don't want to name the places, but the substandard product was full of that thing.
Sure.
Why the government has suddenly done for 4 or 5 equipments like NIBP monitors, and even digital thermometers and all those type of things, because there are a lot of cases has been reported where the quality product and whatever is that thing is there. So the same thing is there, because understand one thing, we deal in a defibrillator. Okay, now when you sell a defibrillator, it's very important. So you save a patient. Now giving one shock, if you get to revive the patient, is fantastic. But if you have a defibrillator, you're given a 4 or 5 shocks and you're not able to survive the patient. That is something. And I think this will help to improvise the life of the Indian people and control the quality for the people also. But yes, challenges as an industry is a big challenge, because documentation is huge. It's enormous documentation is there. And then every 3 years you need to do that thing, and you need to continuous monitoring. You have to report all incidences. So definitely, in my view, it's for the betterment of our country, for better treatment and better diagnosis and the quality of equipment what you're going to get it. At least we can control the equipment, okay? And this will help the industry to go in a right direction, because if you see, come out of India, we should not take it in okay, this is some regulation is coming up in that thing. Yes, it's a challenge for everyone. But if you go out of the world, any part of the world, you go to US, you go to Japan, you go to Brazil, you go to China, you go to Singapore, even a country like Malaysia, they have their own regulatory bodies to control all those things. And you cannot import anything without a regulation type of thing. So definitely, if you take it forward, yes, as a long term, this is going to help the people. And of course, manufacturing may come to India. That will also help. like our Prime Minister is working for a Make in India type of thing. So definitely that will help. But with the infrastructure, I think sure with the time infrastructure will develop for that also. That's a long way we need to go.
Okay. What are your plans for India as a company?
We already have a plant in India where we make our reagents for the in vitro diagnostic machines. We sell 3-part and 5-part. We manufacture them in India, and there are many plants where we are working on those things. So definitely, everyone has to go with the market demands and the country demands.
Of course, absolutely. And a couple of new technologies that you think that would come from your stable that are exciting to see in the coming days.
We only launched something is called EEG Headset. Is a very unique thing what we have launched very recently, and that product got a Red Dot award also. So what happens when you have a patient in a trauma center? Okay, now you take care of his heart, because first thing what you do is an ECG. Okay, you take care of his lung. Okay, is breathing properly or not? But he is unconscious. So what do you do with that? Even in ICU also, you put up him ventilator, you put him on a ventilator, you put it on a patient monitor, where you take care of his heart, you take care of his lungs and everything else. But he is still unconscious. So what to do? For that, doing that, you need to do an EEG examination. Now, EEG examination is something where you need to do a proper preparation. You have to put 32 electrodes on the head of a patient. And patient is uncooperative, he is unconscious. So how are you going to handle that thing? So we have launched EEG headset, which has pre-filled gel electrodes, and it can be weared just like a cap on the head of the patient. So uncooperative patient also, we can put it on that. It has an 8-channel EEG into that, and that is wirelessly connected via Bluetooth with the system. Because what happened in ICU or trauma center, already the many equipments are surrounding the patient. So what happened, even you can keep it at a distance, the machine will send the signal Bluetooth via Bluetooth, and fixing up that headset takes only 1 minute. You have to just put it on the head of the patient, and it start giving you signal. So many patients we can save in that thing. We are working in a study also in Medanta on this also in their neuro ICU. So this is something which can save a lot of lives in that thing, and it open up because patient is unconscious. So how to diagnose that? So this is very easy, and this is much faster for a diagnosis of the patient. And I'm sure this is going to open up new paradigm in the neurodiagnosis.
Oh, lovely. That's very interesting. The product that you mentioned as ease of use, I'm sure speed also, all these things will matter, especially at the trauma centers or, as you said, the neuro ICUs. Coming towards the end of our program, Anilji, we may have a lot of young people who want to, join this medical device, medical equipment industry going forward. What are your little bit of advice for them in terms of, how do they need to think going into the future, whether they'll be engineers or, other professionals who wish to join this industry in terms of the medical device and equipment. What you have a rich experience behind you. So I thought, why not seek your advice to these young people as to, how, they can, think about their career going forward.
Coming to the medical devices, I think there are 2-3 ways are there. If they're engineer, then definitely there's a biomedical engineer ways are there. One is you can be a biomedical engineer in a hospital. You can be an engineer with any companies, or if you are not an engineer, if you want a sales guy, then you can come to the sales and all those things. And knowing the anatomy, knowing the subject, what you're going to do, that is very important. And the most important ingredient in anything is a passion, because we are in a critical care business and it's 24/7. So the passion need to be there very important to serve the people, to help the people in odd hours, helping the people in odd hours, and which we have seen in the pandemic also. We were at 12 o'clock midnight also. The truck is lying outside and who is going to receive that thing? We have done that thing, and that passion is needed. So even with my career of 30 years, I still carry customers who are more of a friends now. because I started my career as a service engineer. And when I came to the medical, that was ultrasound engineer. I can still share in that way that 1996, when I first time went to Agra, a nursing home. Dr. Anupam Gupta was there, and he is a male gynecologist, and his machine was conking off every day, regularly. So he said, "I don't trust you." I said, "Okay, let me do it." And he said, "What will happen? You will go take a flight take a train and go back." I said, "Sir, I'm going to stay in the town. I'll wait." And now today he is the best friend for me. So carrying the people, the passion, and I assured him, okay, if problem is there, I'll stay back in the night and make sure your machine runs tomorrow. Because he used to do a lot of IVF own pickups in the morning. And at that time, for him, it's a life and death, because you need to understand at that point of time, a couple who doesn't have a baby has invested a lot of money to get ovum pickup that particular day. And you need to understand the science before that, how much time goes before, and how much effort is there. There are a lot of follicle studies and this and that, and then you arrive on a day, okay, on that day, that time your pickup is going to happen. So you need to relate yourself also. So passion is anywhere, whatever you do is most important in your life.
Good. On that excellent note, I think so we will end this Motivational Monday talk. And as Mr. Anil Srivastava said that, whatever else that may come, whatever else that may go, everything taken for granted. He shared quite a few thoughts with us today. And if I may briefly summarize some of them, he said passion is the most important thing that, young professionals need to remember going forward in this industry. He was talking about reliability in terms of equipment, as to how people's lives depend on it. He was touching upon the fact that how innovation going forward is going to be the change that is going to be constant. How medical device rules in India going to help us. There will be challenges to start, but they shall be overcome by companies. And with a rich experience that Mr. Anil Srivastava has in the industry, we thank him for joining today's talk, and we wish him all the success. And we hope that we have learned something in terms of our talk today, and hoping, Mr. Anil Srivastava, you have a wonderful, wonderful career ahead, and all the best to you and your company. And thank you on behalf of all of us for helping the fight against COVID, and in whatever way that you have contributed to it. And we thank you for that, and have a good day.
Thank you, Sumit. Thank you so much for your for time which we invested, and we wish all the best to you and everyone whoever is online with us. Thank you so much.
Sure. And I hope going forward we'll hear a lot more from you and your company. And thank you for being with us, sir. Thank you.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.